Hello, my name is Anthropos, and you are watching You Don't Know. You don't know, huh? So don't act like you do, because then something bad might happen to you. The episode that you are fixing to watch is possibly one of the most important episodes ever made by one of the most important You Don't Know episodes ever made by Vistas, Texas. Vistas, Texas production. We're based right here in Austin, Texas, and we cover many arcane subjects, such as elongated skulls, blood sacrifice rituals, Ghostlight Road, mind control, MK Ultra, etc. This episode covers a very disturbing phenomenon, the phenomenon of monarch assets. These are usually women who have been mind controlled in the MK Ultra program, or what the MK Ultra program of the 1950s has evolved into. Insidious program. And now it adds other dimensions are addressed in this video, such as how this correlates to the so-called super soldier phenomenon, and also to a greater degree the secret space program. It gets into some very disturbing realities. The description of this video, I'm going to read it to you now. The title of the video you're watching is Snippet Memories, Wrestling with the Enigma of Secret Space Program Memories. The advanced frontiers of mind science hold the de facto descriptors of an emerging kind of physics. This science is not being developed at Stanford, MIT, Berkeley, or any of the other traditional think tanks that come to mind when we imagine what wonders science will reveal about the world we live in, which may not be a world at all, but more akin to a realm. Elon Musk, Michio Kaku, Stephen Hawking have been left behind, as well as Neil deGrasse Tyson, soon to be forgotten relics of a bygone age of ever decreasing relevance, the age of empirical science. New vistas of discovery are ramping up and imploding upon and into the apparent conscious mind of the collective conscience of humanity. These breakthroughs are not happening in focus group style classrooms at major universities. They are happening in chat rooms and message threads that are dominated by people from the so-called truther movement, a movement that has been infiltrated by global intelligence agencies, not for the purpose of co-opting and distorting, but to in fact kneel at the feet of the new hidden masters of reality in hopes of falling less behind than they already are. Who are the progenitors of this new science? What degrees and certifications do they have? As far as traditional accreditations, the answer is none. Nada, zero, zip, none. The relatively new concept of secret space program is the hotkey, and to a much lesser degree, the often derided and almost misunderstood concept called the super soldier, which in fact has nothing whatsoever to do with soldiering at all. The progenitors of the new mind science are a sliver of a fraction of a minority of the human race and they do have names. Here are a few. Colin Bloy, deceased. Tim Refat, Kevin Trimmel, KJ Scoops, Christopher S. Jacobs, Miles Johnston, Gabriel Cruz, Ann Reyes, Bobby Bang Bang, my homeboy, Seven Bomar, Duncan the Gridkeeper Davis, Sethicus Boza, Carlos Castaneda, deceased, Anthropos, that's me, Josh Reeves, Holly Baglio, Dean Weston, Anthony Zender, Sean Bond, Don Miguel Ruiz, Dead Mal, Tony Rodriguez, Betty Shocker, Carmen Welter, Primus Omegas, Stephanie Tretton, and Diane Lukemin. Hey, Diane. The episode you're about to watch could not be more serious in its content. It is somewhat disturbing. It is essentially, I am in a meeting location in a different town, rendezvous with Ann Reyes, who is an experiencer and an empath and an energy worker, and someone who has also been affected by this nefarious program, several programs. In this episode, we are joined by Christopher S. Jacobs from The Lifting in Arizona. And Christopher has been a monthly guest on our show. Christopher is one of the most powerful psychics in North America, and he is someone who has been subjected to these programs himself. One's very similar, if not the exact same programs that Miss Reyes has been subjected to. And Christopher can see, has perception into super sensible worlds, and can see entities and stuff that are around us all the time. And he's able to cast these out and do a number of other amazing things in real time. He kind of goes into a trance-like state, was what it looks like to me, without any fanfare or apparently any ritual or anything like that. So he can go into this state fairly easily, it seems to me. And so the video is, Ms. Reyes speaking about some of her experiences, and Christopher giving his impressions, past life, present life, different dimensions, trying to, giving the narrative of, what he sees in these experiences, which are frighteningly real, terrible. Ms. Reyes is someone who's very smart. She's very calm. For someone who's been through these experiences that would definitely break a lesser person, probably kill just about anyone, and at the very least send them to an insane asylum. She somehow, and Christopher gives us some of these reasons why she has been able to withstand these attacks. Apparently she's, and according to Jay Essex, Ms. Reyes is an original human being. We don't go into that very much in the video. I don't say very much during the video. I make a couple of comments here and there, and it's mostly Ms. Reyes describing her testimony and Christopher doing what he does. This is probably one of the best and most informative videos featuring Christopher S. Jacobs in existence today. This is probably one of the most groundbreaking and important videos about what I call the the MK Ultra experience, rightly or wrongly. I don't want to put labels on this because it's too comprehensive in what the totality of the entire thing, the way it relates to the so-called secret space program, the way it relates to alien abductions, the way it relates to demonic activity, and the cabal, the so-called nefarious workings of the Illuminati and the shot callers of the world and their evil deeds. Also, Christopher Jacobs shed some light on balancing forces of a good nature or at least a neutralizing nature that somehow neutralize or mitigate some of these evil and dark forces. Mostly what this this informative video shows is in my opinion is a triumph of the human will. That Miss Reyes has been able to overcome these challenges and now live a normal life. She has a family. She's a very private individual. She's not seeking any attention, or she's more or less seeking answers herself. She wants to live a normal anonymous life for the most part. Of course, she is putting herself out here a little bit, and that is for the purposes of educating the people, you and I, making us aware of these great dangers that we are just right around us, and the true way the world really operates. We're getting in some insight into that, and it gets pretty dark. I'll warn you right now. This is not a video that children should watch at all. The themes, the content, the imagery is very disturbing, somewhat shocking. The episode starts. There's a short preface to part one of the episode here, then that will give the viewer who has not seen our show before a little bit of insight into what the show's about. It'll be about a 20-minute excerpt from a video that we have concerning the elongated skulls. None of this stuff is unrelated, but it's just to introduce the viewer to the way we make our presentations here on You Don't Know. This is a serious show to be taken seriously, and so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and roll it. And the interview with Christopher S. Jacobs and Reyes begins at the time below that's showing on your screen right now. If you want to fast forward to this time, then by all means do so. Otherwise, watch this video in its entirety. Thank you for joining me on our voyage of discovery. You're kick-ass. I love you all. I always have. Thank you.
Ooh. Karen Hoodis and Dr. Edward Spencer have a wild tale to tell. Dr. Edward Spencer believes that the Homo capensis, the elongated skull people, are not extinct and they're still living amongst us. Obviously they're not. You don't see them at the grocery store or anything like this. And Karen Hoodis has information. I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying I believe this, but it is fascinating and a bit frightening, the information that she has. She is an officer at the World Bank, which is the bank that finances all the other banks. They issue the money for the banks that issue the money. They're where the dollar stops there at the World Bank. It's an international organization. It does not have ties to any country supposedly or anything like this. And Karen Hoodis believes that the Homo capensis people run the World Bank. So if you asked some people at least, these big-headed motherfuckers are still alive, they live in hiding, and they control our money. Put that in your fucking pipe and smoke it, huh? Fucking A. Anyway, the official narrative about the elongated skulls is that these are people that have been subjected as infants to cradle boarding. Cradle boarding is a worldwide practice. It's not used very much anymore, but up until just only 100 years ago, it was widely practiced in several different parts of the world, wherein the infant was put in a cradle, like, to be carried around by their mother and stuff, and just like, the cradles that we have, with one glaring exception, and that is the infant's head was bound to the flat surface of the cradle that goes behind there. And as you know, an infant's skull is malleable. And so taking that fact into consideration, however the tradition began, the people started making cone heads of their own children and stuff. So you would grow up in a community of cone heads, basically. And the official narrative of archaeology, mainstream archaeology to this day, in the university system, which is the Prussian education system, okay, that's a whole other subject right there. And I do come from a family of educators, university educators, and it's a proud heritage, something I'm proud of, but once I learned what it's really about, it was kind of quite sickening. Archaeology is a sham. Modern day archaeology is just total 100% bullshit. If you know an archaeologist, they're basically just a liar or a fool. I'll debate any archaeologist. It's just all lies. As opposed to, say, chemistry. You go to the university and you get a chemistry degree. Well, you got to be able to do something. You got to be able to mix some potions or something like that, make some shit blow up, make a polymer plastic, something to make tires, or you be able to do some fucking chemistry, huh? I mean, that shit's real. Know all your damn formulas and stuff like that. There's many advances in mankind had to do with chemistry. There's no advances in mankind that have anything to do with archaeology. Because it's a total lie, and it's been a lie for at least probably almost 200 years. Complete fucking bullshit from beginning to end. Almost everything you learn in there is a fucking lie. Everything you learn about this country in regards to archaeology is a lie. The United States of America, it has some of the richest, archaeological sites in the world that you'll never hear about. They're called, because they call them Indian burial mounds. In other words, ho 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 ho. I don't mean to do a cartoon type thing that was disrespectful. The American Indian traditions and culture are very important to this country. They're very important to the world. And if you ask an Indian, an American Indian, what's inside Indian burial mounds, they may tell you that they don't know, and they may or may not know, but they'll tell you what's not in an Indian burial mound, and that's Indians. There ain't no Indians in Indian burial mounds, all right? That's because there's giants in there. Giants are a reality. It's not even debatable. You can get on the internet right now and find hundreds of newspaper articles from the late 1800s from all over the world talking about discoveries of giants. And the United States of America is just full of giants' corpses. But they're called, the places where they're buried, they call them Indian burial mounds. And guess what? If you go dig up an Indian burial mound, you'll get 99 years in jail. They don't fuck around on that, huh? They don't want you digging up any Indian burial mounds. I wonder why, right? Fascinatingly enough, my new book is out. My Family Created the National Security State. In parentheses, no need to thank me. This has to do with my great uncle, my father's uncle, the late congressional leader George Mahon, who controlled every dime of the United States defense budget for over 40 years. That's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. All of that money he controlled, and he started a few other projects, a few other agencies that you may have heard of as well. He created the NSA. He created the CIA, the FBI, NASA, Operation Paperclip, MK Ultra, the Manhattan Project. Just go down the list. All of that stuff was created by my great uncle. So please feel free to go to the website http://www.youdon'tknow.io and buy the electronic version of my book for $8 and learn a little something about this world that we live in, that we've been lied to so much about. That's pretty much the only whistleblowing we do on this show. The show You Don't Know is mostly about Earth mysteries, megalithic ruins, elongated skulls, the Ghost Light Road phenomenon of East Texas, blood sacrifice rituals all around the world, yada yada yada. We don't get into any of the really dark, ugly stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And there's plenty of other people covering these terrible sounding subjects, and so we don't need to, and we don't discuss those subjects. Or banksters or anything like that. Oh, they're stealing all this our money. We don't get into that. But it is fascinating to hear Karen Hoodis and Dr. Edward Spencer's claims that the Homo capensis run the world banking system. Fascinating indeed. Now, interestingly enough, I think it's the Columbia University has now got a hold of one of these skeletons for the Paracas people. But before I get into that, let me tell you the reasons, the scientific reasons that I have for telling you that the Paracas skulls, the elongated skulls, are not human. There are very good reasons for this. And they're not. They're not human. We stayed at Cocopelli backpacker, a hostel in Paracas, and like I said, the museo was closed. But we learned from a man there at Cocopelli, he had been hired along with a group of men to take the skulls to Ica. And what he told me, and so that's how we knew to go to Ica to examine the skulls. And what he told me is where they delivered those skulls was to the warehouse, which is right behind the main museum building where we saw the skulls. And in that warehouse, he said, that warehouse is about a block long, the ceiling is about 20 feet high, and that building is filled with elongated skulls from the ground all the way up to the ceiling. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of elongated skulls, like you see in these pictures here. And we went into the main exhibit hall, and a guard kind of meandered in there after us and to let us know in broken English that we can't take pictures. No picture taking. And so he left, and he was gone for approximately, I'd say probably about 70 or 80 seconds. And in that time we got probably 7 or 8 high quality pictures that we were taken illegally in a foreign country. And Danny Hake did that. I was standing there right next to him. And these are some of the pictures that you're seeing right now. Were taken by my crew personally, with me standing right there. Including skull number 176, which we talked about earlier. Now, one thing that, as I mentioned, obfuscates this narrative or this story is the fact that they have these big murals on the wall and stuff like this that show that these people with the elongated skulls had been subjected to this cradle boarding as children, and that's the reason why they have elongated skulls. That's fucking bullshit, all right? That's not true. Because, for several reasons, binding the head of an infant you might be able to shape their skull, and indeed you are able to do that, because head binding is real. And it's not the cause of the elongated skulls. What that is it's the native peoples, the indigenous peoples trying to emulate their rulers, their quote-unquote gods from ages ago, thinking, well, if I have a child and it has an elongated, head, maybe it will be accepted into the royalty or something like this. The primitive people with primitive ideas. And so that is the reason for cradle boarding, is to emulate these cone heads, these big-headed motherfuckers, okay? The Homo capensis. So what is the difference? Well, let me tell you, the skulls are bigger. There's no amount of cradle boarding that's going to make your skull bigger. You know what I mean? You can have a misshapen skull, but it's still going to be the same as your skull or my skull. And these skulls are markedly different, and they're markedly bigger. And this is something that I have discovered. This is something that a fact or an assumption or whatever you want to call it, theory, that I came up with on my own. The elongated skulls that we're allowed to see, except for now they're coming out with some others. For instance, Braden Forster is now showing a skull that's 21 inches long. From chin to like the top of the cone head, almost 2 feet. All right? That's not a human skull, okay? And so what it is this, as I've discovered, except for that one and some ones that are starting to come forward now, the elongated skulls that we've always seen for decades and decades, and the ones that are on display are the skulls of female Homo capensis. And unlike the human, now they can tell the difference between a man's skull and a woman's skull with forensics, CSI and everything like that. And obviously we know that in general a man's skull is bigger than a woman's skull. There are some other differences, but truthfully they're about the same. Relatively they're the same size. Even a big man's skull and a small woman's skull, yes, there's a difference in the size, definitely. But not like the difference in the size of the Paracas people. There's a huge difference. The male skull is twice the size of the female skull. It's just, I guess, a characteristic of their race. And so they've always shown the female skulls, which are closer to our size, so people won't become alarmed and say, or draw the obvious conclusion, hey, these people are not human. These are not human beings we're dealing with right here. So to obfuscate the story and to carry on the false narrative that these are people that have been subjected to cradle boarding, they only show the female skulls. I've never heard that anywhere before, and I figured that out on my own, and that's what I think. Now, to make matters even more confusing, once you get there and look at these skulls in Ica, well, first of all, let's just start with the elongated skulls proper. They're the differences between your skull, my skull, and an elongated skull. On the human skull, you have 3 plates. You have 3 plates on the top of your head. One, and this is a scientific name for the one on the front. It's called the frontal plate, right? It's just plain English. That's what it is. And then on the back of your head, it's divided into 2. You have the left occipital plate and the right occipital plate. And these plates are divided by the sagittal suture, which is that big long squiggly line that goes down the back of your head. That kind of looks like a jigsaw puzzle. The biggest suture, in the human head. The elongated skull people do not have this. They have 2 plates. They have a front and a back. What would be their left and right occipital plates are fused into one plate with no sagittal suture or anything. And they have a big hole up at the top. Ostensibly to let through extra blood flow and everything, because you maybe need extra blood to have that big old fucking head carried around, huh? That's it! Big-headed motherfuckers, huh? Anyway, and another difference is the eye sockets. We think of a skeleton as having round eye sockets. That's really not true. If you look at a skull, our eye sockets almost look like an upside-down triangle. They're very angular. It's like an upside down triangle. And they're also very deep set within the skull. Very deep set. The Paracas people have round eye sockets. They're bigger than ours, much bigger than ours, and they're very shallow. So, you know, instead of an eyeball, their eyeballs must look, you know, look way different from ours because their eyes are different. They're more shallow, they're much bigger around, and they are round. You know, of course, our eyes are round too, but I'm talking about the sockets. There's sockets around it. So it's a different looking skull. The morphology between a Paracas skull and a human skull is different. And another big time difference is the jaw. The Paracas people, the Homo capensis, the coneheads, whatever you want to call them, have a very robust jawbone. I mean, you'd have a hard time knocking that motherfucker out, or especially breaking that jaw, man. You just break your hand. I mean, they're rough, man. They got some big jaws. Big jaws, big, thick jaws, you know, and there's been computer-aided drawings and stuff to show what they think the Paracas people would look like, and it's not human. Okay, there's some human features to it, but that head, you know, it just stands out like a sore thumb. So anyway, yes, the Paracas skulls, the Paracas people are not human. They're different from us, but what confuses the matter even more is there seems to be several in-between type of other things. In other words, another characteristic of the Paracas people is they almost all have red hair. Okay, well, so what? Humans have red hair. Not like this. This is a different kind of red hair. This is like an auburn, deep auburn red hair, like my dog has, my Gunter, my Australian Shepherd, my Aussie. Almost that exact same color. And so here you see in the pictures that we took of the mumias with very long hair. Well, so what's interesting about it is all of the elongated skull people have this red hair, I think. But then there's also some more human looking people that also have this red hair. And there's no one in the world today that has this color of red. It's just it's almost brown, but it's just the deepest red that you can imagine. It's just a different color than what humans have. And then there's also skulls that are big, but they're not elongated, but they have the massive jawbone. So it's like there's different shade. There's more. It's more than just an if and or thing, you know, or two different things to compare. There's several things going on right there, and so that just deepens the mystery. But mainstream science has, for some reason, probably the reason of wanting to support the Anunnaki narrative, which is a false narrative, which is a narrative that we're being given from shows like Ancient Aliens and stuff like this, and it has to do with the disclosure when they finally, you know, come around and say, oh yeah, aliens have been with us the whole time, this and that, and everything like that. And everyone's saying, oh, we knew it the whole time, you know, it was a MUFON and, you know, Roswell and all this shit. It's a load of crap, man. This disclosure that everyone talks about, oh, if the government would just give us disclosure. Disclosure means that the government would reveal the secrets for the betterment of mankind, you know, to let us in on the secret of these aliens. There is no disclosure. There never will be a disclosure, even if they admit there's aliens, because there never was a cover-up. We have been indoctrinated to believe that there's been a UFO cover-up. You know, these damn UFO, you know, believe in UFOs, you know, 20 years ago, you're a nutcase. You know what I mean? You're a crackpot, right? Crazy. Conspiracy theorist or whatever. Now, most people do believe in aliens. Is it because they got over the government cover-up? No. I submit this to you. There has not been a government cover-up. In fact, it's been just the opposite. We've been force-fed a steady diet of UFOs, this, aliens, that, since before you were born. Your parents were watching cheesy-ass fucking black and white movies that came from Mars and stuff like that when they were teenagers. I mean, these shows and these programs have been rammed down our throats. Star Wars, Star Trek, Star this, Star that, you know, Laser Commander, you know, Battlestar Galactica. Aliens, 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 aliens. There is no cover-up. There never has been a cover-up. It's been a psyop the whole time. Aliens, aliens, aliens. Alright? That's what it is. And I was someone who considered myself a progressive 20 or 30 years ago because I openly embraced this idea of UFOs. And so I was, you know, foolishly thought I was ahead of the human race or something like that. Now I'm even that much further ahead because I don't believe in UFOs. I believe in UFOs. I do believe in UFOs, and I'm not discounting the fact that it's possible that there are some entities or something from outer space, whatever outer space is. That's a concept, that's a discussion for a whole other time. Anybody with half a brain who spent 5 or 10 minutes researching knows for a fact we did not, I'm not saying we didn't go to the moon, but we damn sure didn't go to the moon in a tin can or rocket ship. Okay? Get over that. If you still believe that, it's just because you know, it's not because you're stupid, it's not because you're crazy, it's not because I'm crazy. It's maybe not even be because you don't want to know. One thing's for sure, you don't know. Because that's that's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that none of those Apollo flights went to the moon. Period. Period. When you have a lie, a big lie, this is something I've discovered, another theory that I've come up with myself, or a truth, an observation. There's a million ways to disprove a lie, but there's not even one way to disprove the truth. And so now that the whole moon landing and all that shit's been proven to be a hoax, people take that information and find another way to prove it. So you have, it could be, you know, a science fair project for a 50-year-old fifth grader in India to prove the 90 millionth way that we didn't go to the moon. Because we didn't, Jack. All right, put that in your pipe and smoke it, huh? Call me a fucking dumbass. We didn't.
Strong things between you and them. And, you know, if you get like the Orion rays or anything like that, you can hand their head to them if you got a hold of them. But these Grim Reaper looking ones with the veils over them and everything.
I've seen those, and some have a snout, because I saw like some kind of a hood, but I could see the snout, and there was a bunch of them all around me, and they were like chanting, and I felt like I couldn't get up. It was weird.
Those are reptilian like priests. Those are like ones that worship like artificial intelligence and such. Those are like most priests. This is why you have priests in basically cathedrals and churches. Essentially, that was the pattern of the reptilian, you know, priests and the AI, Orion, you know, Anunnaki, overlord types. But those were more likely the servants that you were seeing. It's rare anybody sees their masters, but yeah, I'm definitely. Man, somebody doesn't want me to see it. I keep getting it in the eye right here. Let's see. Somebody stuck something in your eye.
I woke up one time and I had a triangle shape on the inside of my eye. I went to the doctor because it was 3 little holes in a triangle, and he gave me some kind of medicine. I still have the medicine because it has the date on it. So I kept it so I'd remember when this happened.
Yeah, my...
Hey, Christopher. How are you doing?
Good. How's it going?
All right. Come on, buddy.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Set this down.
That's fine. Just take your time.
I could see nothing. I just spotted myself on the camera.
Oh, okay.
Hey, can you see us, Christopher?
Yeah, I can see you just fine.
Oh, hey, man, thank you so much for meeting with us today on such short notice.
Yeah, no problem. What's going on?
Well, you know, I'm going to let Ann tell you, but she saw a video with you and me, and she reached out to me to let me know that she was close and everything, and we've been talking on the phone for maybe a little over a week or so, and she's just got a very interesting story, and she's a very level-headed lady. Her name is Ann Reyes, and this is Christopher Jacobs.
Hi. We're friends on Facebook. So.
Yeah, you're on my Facebook. I was like, wait a minute, I recognize the name, and I went and looked on the Facebook and saw yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. What's going on?
Well, in the video that I saw with y'all two, you were talking about the implants. And I do have something in my back. It's in my, like, around the bra strap area, kind of on the left side. I've actually had 2 doctors look at it, and they said it's something that looks like it's connecting to my spine. And it sounded like what you were referring to in your video that I saw. I've also had someone tell me that I've got some, like, something they said was capping my pineal, that there was some kind of an implant put there. And
oh yeah, I've had those too. They hurt. Yeah, so yeah.
do they cause headaches?
Yeah, yeah, they cause headaches. You know, these implants will cause what I call timed ailments. Like the aliens put them there to cause different pain distractions over periods of time, or to correlate with certain energies coming up at certain times and stuff like that. They're all engrossed in timing things like that. So
none of them are for anything good. They're all for.
I've never found one for anything good. No. Now there are good aliens that will sometimes out there that will sometimes put things in people to counterbalance something else. And I always ask, what's the point of that? Just remove the bad thing, you know.
Right.
You know, but yeah, as you were talking, yeah, just behind, it's going through the left side of your chest here, and then out the back, the same way I have a scar that goes through mine, you know, and that was from a past life of mine where I was skewered through the back, and got into a fight with a couple of reptilians in the past, and got jabbed right through the back. So it was like back then they actually carried these weapons, these like big sword like things, but now they don't. But let me see here. Yeah, I'm seeing this on your back. There is definitely. Does it feel like it's also being pushed in, like somebody's pushing a finger in there?
Yeah, it actually vibrates sometimes. This one's a physical one, so it'll vibrate every once in a while. It's the skin around it started to discolor because it was just going off all the time for about a year.
It's definitely a physical one. It's no bigger than a finger, like a piece of a fingernail.
Yeah, it's like a little wire of some sort, because when I first got it, you could see it. It left a hole in my skin, and I had my friend look at it, and she was taking pictures with her phone, you know, because I can't see my back. But yeah, she could physically see it. And I actually scratched it.
Oh.
Well, I scratched it with my nail, because I was trying to get it, to pull it out, and it sent a shocking pain. It hurt really bad, so I just left it alone.
Yeah, this definitely is. It's not only keeping a record of something, but it is causing. I'm trying to see what it's actually doing. It's causing a lot of distortion. I can tell you that much. It's making it so people that say that people want to even look you in the face can't quite look at you correctly, or can't quite perceive your energy correctly. It's throwing it off, and it's throwing the balance off here, and it's kind of pulling it towards your left a little bit here. I'm trying to describe it. Okay, I'm going to see if I can just remove this thing. I reach in with my bilocated form and grab things. So okay, let's see. Oh yeah, there's a small sliver of metal. It was surrounded by a black cloud, like a little sphere, and it's. There's also. You have another one towards your lower spine as well.
Okay, someone else told me I had one there, and it was to help me walk, is what he said. So he left that one alone.
I recognize this particular shape. I've been stricken with these before. It's a T-shaped one. The same race made both of these. It's the same design, the technical design here. So this one I can remove. Maybe maybe a being was telling him that I'm not dumping on the other person. I'm just saying some being was probably telling him it was helpful. Don't remove it. It was probably a tall white or a gray telling him that, and he didn't know it. So not dumping on the other psychic. I'm just yeah, and it was connected to that one. I'm trying to figure out what that one in your back was designed to do here, because it's just kind of free floating there. And that's creating a very strong electrical field here. So I'm going to surround this in energy here. So I can get a good look at this. Keep zapping me in the eye here. Let's see.
Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. I've been zapped plenty of times. So even earlier today we got nailed by something. So. Okay, this thing has multiple layers. It's stretching into different frequency layers. It's causing a lot of static. and I've been removing different energy layers of it. It's starting to calm it down, but I'm gonna tell your surrounding cells to disintegrate this. I'm telling them that there's a foreign object there that it has to destroy it. Okay, there we go. There, that should have taken care of the electrical feeling in the back there. I managed to kill whatever signal that was putting off. It had like 3 different layers to it. That it was cycling. It was putting out some kind of cycling, repeating signal. That it was when anybody would tamper with it, it would set off some kind of an alarm, and somebody would come and check on it. But this is definitely alien. Definitely alien. Let me see. It looked almost like, yeah, it was like a wire or a shard of metal sort of thing, like iron. And if a doctor would have seen it, it would have disguised itself as a piece of iron ore. They had the ability to make it change like that. So, looking.
You don't know why they would have put that there?
Huh?
You don't know why they would have put that there?
This looked like they were trying to skew your path or skew your like whatever you came in to do. Try to either create an ailment at a certain time or some kind of distraction or data gathering. It looked like it was all of the above, actually. But you do have something in your genetics here too. Let's see. There's something in your core itself here. There's something yellow I'm looking at. This doesn't look like it belongs here. It's running through your whole skeletal system here. I'm seeing wires wrapped around your bones and everything, and along with cartilage, this weird cartilage. There's only one race that uses this kind of stuff. That's the Greys. So, let me see here. You have energy shards missing too. You've had reptilian contact as well. They've been literally in physical contact with you. So I'm seeing echoes of hands that worked on you, and I'm seeing human involvement, gray, reptilian, bug, all those races. So yeah, it just reeks of Greys. So let's see. Let's see if I can. What I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to send light through your core first, and then I'm going to help replace the missing shards here, because that'll mess you up. It'll cloud you too, and you have something over your third eye as well. You've been hit with what I call a crown. These things can be not only past life based, but they're modern day based. There's certain aliens, basically Orion based assholes, pretty much, that put these things on people. And the metaphysical community likes to think these are all holy and all this other stuff. No, this is alien technology designed to mess you up. So I'm going to pull that thing off too. Oh yeah. Oh, and there's some cords that are going with it through the spine. And get rid of that. Yeah, there, now that cleared up a little more. You also, your core is full of triangles. I'm seeing these triangle like glyphs and stuff inside of your core as well. Again, that could be Greys, that could be a Garthan sect, a couple of Garthan sect, that could be a couple other races out there that use this as well. So I'm going to get rid of all this geometry. Actually, we'll just do what I call revocations and audits. It usually makes it so my job's a little easier here. First, we'll replace the missing soul shards. And what I give people is what I call the soul shard of origin. That reverts your energy back to a pre-oppressed state prior to the soul shards getting stolen. Do you accept this from me?
Yes.
Okay. There we are. There we go. Well, now we'll go into revocations first, because I'm seeing you're having energy stolen. Several different kinds too, from different layers here. You also walked over an energy collector recently as well, an Archon energy collector. You wouldn't have known it was there. They're underground. They're in churches, in historic sites, temples.
There's a lot of historic sites around here.
Yeah, there is, and I live in the country, so it could have been anywhere. I had
could have been an ancient one that you passed over too.
A which
okay.
One? Could have been a what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It could have been an ancient one that wasn't hardly in use too much. They're everywhere. They're all over the planet, unfortunately. So let me see, because I'm seeing signs in your bottoms of your feet. You have what I call foot spikes, and these are energetic implants that are like pyramidal shaped. They're like they're kind of like this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But with hooks going the other direction on them. And the way I help get rid of these is there's 3 revocations I have people do, because technically these bad aliens consider this a binding contract, like an agreement or a consent. So they can't work off of too much else other than people giving little deceptive consents in there. So so we'll go with. Do you revoke any ties, bindings, contracts, and entanglements from what is known as the Energy Harvester Network?
Yes.
Do you revoke any and all ties, bindings, contracts, or entanglements from walking on church, temple grounds, or historic sites?
Yes.
And do you revoke any and all ties, bindings, contracts, or entanglements with what is known as the Arconian Binary Network?
Yes.
Okay. There it went. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the energy theft looked like it stopped. There we go. It's one of those 3 that usually do it, so I usually give people all 3 of those. But you got a yellow greenish like triangle shape sitting in your neck right here on the right side, right. And I'm going to pull that up. We'll go into audits. Audits basically will reveal anything that's there that I don't see at the moment. Do you audit your current present self?
Yes.
And do you audit your energy core and your genetic memory?
Yes.
There we go. There. There we go. Yeah, your energy's clearing up very quickly, but you have a lot of scarring in your core, especially around the chest area here. It's revealing that you've had little physical contact with aliens not too long ago.
I remember some of it. I mean, it's been my whole life. I've remembered seeing them, since as long as I can remember, really. Some pretty scary ones, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've had contact with them, too. I usually get up and try to beat the crap out of them when I see them. So, if I see them, I just try to jump them. But the Greys are stronger than they look, trust me. The robotic ones, you sometimes can't tell if they're the android-looking ones, and you go to try to tackle them. They're scrawny looking, but some of them are strong, some of them are very, very weak, and they try to put strong things between you and them. And if you get like the Orion Greys or anything like that, you could hand their head to them if you got a hold of them. But or these Grim Reaper-looking ones with the veils over them and everything.
I've seen those, and some have a snout. Because I saw like some kind of a hood, but I could see the snout, and there was a bunch of them all around me, and they were like chanting, and I felt like I couldn't get up. It was those are reptilian like priests. Those are like ones that worship like artificial intelligence and such. Those are like most priests. This is why you have priests in basically cathedrals and churches. Essentially, that was the pattern of the reptilian priests and the AI Orion Anunnaki overlord types. But those were more likely the servants that you were seeing. It's rare anybody sees their masters, but I'm definitely. Oh man, somebody doesn't want me to see it. I keep getting it in the eye right here. Let's see. Somebody stuck something in your eye. I woke up one time and I had a triangle shape on the inside of my eye. I went to the doctor because it was 3 little holes in a triangle, And he gave me some kind of medicine. I still have the medicine because it has the date on it. So I kept it so I'd remember when this happened.
Yeah, on my face here, I've woken up with triangles. I even have a triangle on my shoulder here, if I can see. Like, let's see if I can. No, it's too high up. I can't. But it's there's like a dot pattern right there.
Well, I woke up with them on my rear end too, so you don't want to go showing everybody when it's on your rear. Yeah. But it was a triangle with a circle around it.
Yeah, so these are branding marks that these aliens put on. Yeah.
Is the triangle pointing up or down?
I don't remember. I really don't remember.
Because that's how they're trying to basically sway your energy. They're trying to steer it in a certain way or do something with it. Sometimes it has to do with polarities. But was this triangle just like just dots on the face, like you said? No, like
under the eye. On my rear end.
On your butt too.
The whole thing swelled up. It was like a swollen area.
That may have been a tool mark one too. I noticed they like to use triangular-shaped tool marks too, tools as well. There's those where they leave the marks, but then they like to actually leave the energetic brandings as well. I've noticed it's both of those.
Does that tell other aliens to stay away? Because we are control this one, so stay away, or?
If there's a specific symbol, like if there's a specific emblem that belongs to a certain Anunnaki lord or something like that, like say Baal or Molag or any of them, they'll have their emblem and say, only my servants can do this, etc., etc. Or certain reptilian groups will put their brandings on there. The triangles basically can also be like homing beacons too, to basically show, okay, this is prime genetic material here. We're coming back to claim this right here. We're stamping this person. But so half the time it's also tool marks. They'll like be poking and prodding with something, but the other half is branding. But I'm also seeing in your energy you do have an actual branding marker on your right thigh. It looks like.
Well, I do wake up at different times and I'll have bruising, like on the inside of my thighs and on the outside of my thighs. And like the inside ones will be very small, but they're dark purple. They don't hurt. But, I mean, if I was doing that to myself, I'd remember doing it. I wake up and it's like, wow, what are these weird bruises?
Do you have, has there been hand marks on your thighs before? Like actual fingers?
I woke up one time and I was looking at my arms doing something and I saw these bruises and I went like that to look and it was actual handprints as if on both arms like I had been held down like that. Yeah. I've woken up with like strap marks across my legs.
Okay, yeah. There's reptilian involvement. They like to come after women a lot. They sexually abuse people constantly. But I'm seeing this branding. I feel there's human involvement here too. There's definitely cabal involvement here because I'm sensing human energy here. Human servants, just like the reptilians are the servants of these people, humans are too. Let me see here. I'm trying to get a look at this branding to see which grouping did this. Ooh, somebody doesn't want me to look. There's like a perception layer over this, so if a seer tried to look, it would either look like something sacred or it wouldn't appear at all. Somebody took great efforts to hide this, but not well enough. They were slightly sloppy in their work because the high emotions at the time you felt remained, and the markers then remained, like the bruising and the strap marks and everything. I feel like you were put on a bed with I see like the leathery type straps. I'm seeing like the buckles and everything. So that's why I know human involvement. But they were wanting the reptilians to do something. What were they doing? I know the humans and the aliens were taking genetic material. The reptilians were just taking energy and taking soul shards, taking whatever they could get. But I'm trying to see this branding. It looks like a ram's head. This tells me one of the Anunnaki lords. Let's see. They were doing this on behalf of somebody. So let's see.
Recent?
Yes, this looks fairly fresh to me.
I had a dream that I got hit by a ram. It was the weirdest dream, but it was a ram came at me and hit me. But that was a dream.
Yeah, this looks to be almost like, if I couldn't know any better, this was either Enki or Enlil's symbol. Let's see. They're good beings, though. They were screwed over at one time, and they do have duplicates. So let's see. Yeah, you can see you have Molag that goes into the symbol of the cow. You have not Molag. Baal is the cow. Molag is the owl. Enki or Enlil is the ram, and they use these different brandings to compete with each other, pretty much. So I'm gonna tap into the energies and see exactly what happened. Now it took me into a room where this may go to a dark place you don't want to hear about, but
actually, I might actually remember it, so I'm not afraid. You can say it.
There was definitely sexual abuse here. I can tell you that right now. But there was they were taking genetic material in a hurry. Somebody was very impatient. They got a huge perception filter over this time frame here. I'm just going to open your timeline up and see here. Oh yeah. There's what I call lock pins in the timeline, where that's where the erased memories are in someone's time. And yours is all over the place. If I didn't know any better, it looks like you were taken out of time sync, like you were taken out dimensionally, either through like a MyLab type of thing, or like secret space program, or something to that effect.
That would make total sense.
Yeah. When I see this weird like swirl pattern in the timeline, I know that somebody's been taken out of time sync, put back, taken, put back, taken, put back. So there's at least a couple of larger chunks. If I can move this timeline and keep it straight here. Okay. Move pin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were definitely taken out and reinserted many times. Your timeline is telling me. Yeah, your timeline is telling me definitely as a child, they were trying to gear you towards something in society. They thought that they were trying to steer you away from your actual given soul path. Or I always tell people they give people the shovel to bury them with, because the more they abuse somebody, the stronger they come back and beat them over the head with it. So that's what happened with me. They abused us enough to where I just beat the crap out of them on sight. So. Except that they're 8 feet tall and an android, that didn't turn out too well. But big gray with a big butt head, that didn't turn out too well.
With the split in the head, I've seen them.
Yeah,
it's like a walnut shaped. I saw them.
Those are like servant, like robot type deals. But they have emotion, though. They pump out a lot of anger and a lot of hatred. When you encounter them, you just feel pure hatred coming out of these beings.
Yeah, I didn't feel anything good. It was a female. I saw her. She came into my bedroom with 3 of the little grays.
Those are robots, too, the little tiny ones. A lot of races use the little ones.
Okay, yeah, these were little ones.
Yeah, they look almost like if you touch them. I've touched one of these things. They feel like plastic, like soft plastic. And like you could just go and just break it, and I've tried too. I've pushed one of these things over before. They fall over, but they just kind of go and get back up again. But so I just use them as a punching bag when I find them. But these are like worker drone type of things that a lot of races use. That they traded with the Greys to get some of their technology, but. I'm seeing this female. Ooh, man, you don't want me to see. Somebody is like aiming at me from this side here. Trying to heat my face up here. It's a classic move. They're trying to raise my blood pressure. Let's see. They do the same crap every time and think that I don't notice them. So they're dumb. So let's see. Especially the Draco. They are stupid. So. But yeah, I'm seeing like these you're being looked at by several different angles, and somebody is guarding programming that is in your head here. Somebody is guarding some layers that are in your own mind here. Somebody's fighting me to keep me out heavily. There's these reptilian priests that there's these like with the bigger snouts, but they have these like inset eyes and these big nostrils and everything. And get out of my face. All right, let's see. Yeah, one of them was looking at me like that. I just saw this face just come through for a second, but let's see. They think if they stare at me long enough, I'm going to change my mind here. But that's basically all they can pretty much do to me is just look at me. So, yeah, I try to just joke with them and do stuff like that, to keep the vibration up. But at the same time, I'm using them as a punching bag. But yeah, there's layer after layer in your own mind that they put in there to hide what they were doing. It keeps going back to this scene in a bed, like a recliner looking thing in like a laboratory or something. But I'm trying to decide whether this is a VR session or if this is an actual abduction. Because in some of my own MyLab and SSP memories that have been coming back lately, I've been finding that there was a colonel that was training people in VR sessions to try to show people their worst fears, so therefore they could get over them. But if you have your memory erased, all you're remembering is the fear of something that was artificial.
I think I've had some of those, because one of them that I think I realized was a VR. It was like some kind of a guy, but he looked like zombie-ish. Like, I don't know, he kept coming at me, and they wanted me to put him down, and every time I put him down, he'd get back up and come at me. And then I freaked out, like scared.
Yeah, they were showing you your worst fears because they were somebody was trying to train you in the event that particular virus got out. And yes, there is a zombie virus. So
yeah, I kind of figured, and I even told a friend of mine. I said it's some kind of a training, but it doesn't really make sense to me. But I know I'm being trained for something.
You were. I can see you as a soldier holding a gun in a scenario. They were also trying to. I see the zombie scenario too. Your timeline keeps jumping all over the place, but it looks like you were definitely heavy in the SSP MyLab programs, entrenched in it. You went in the same VR crap that I was involved in. So yeah, and there was oh my god, yeah, this in this VR scenario, I'm definitely seeing zombies, and it was set. Basically, a handicap was set against you to see if you could cope in a losing scenario.
I didn't cope very well. I freaked out, and I ran.
Too. I've had zombie dreams too. Also, that's also energetics as well. Just like when I hit a certain vibration in these dreams one time, these zombies tried to come after me and pin me down and bite me, but they couldn't do anything to me. And I just kind of stood up and went, "See ya," But yeah, I've had zombie dreams before and being terrified of them. So I know it's based on a real alien virus that's out there that the Anunnaki hit many planets with, over the ages. And people that have had past lives on those planets remember this, and that's why the zombie thing got so popular.
Yeah, see, I've never been into zombies, so for me to even have that dream was odd,
Yeah, this was definitely training, and I'm trying to see who was doing the training. It looks like you were in a similar room to myself. Just a little rectangular shaped room.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I was in one of these too. Yeah. This, and the VR things are like goggles, kind of heavier goggles.
That I don't remember, but it's almost like you start to, when you have so many of them, you can feel like, okay, that wasn't real. That's VR. That's not real. But what it means, I didn't know. I remember also training some girls. Like we were in it was a giant room, and it was huge. It was domed. And I think either we could change it and you could see the stars, or make it black or whatever. I don't know how this happened, but we made it to look like stars. And I was teaching them, how to levitate. I don't know if I had a technology, like I think I was wearing something. I remember what I had on. Like I was wearing black pants with, you know, the pockets on the sides, kind of like a tank top, had my hair in a ponytail. We were having a great time. And I remember the girls saying, they were about maybe 15 years old, 14, 15, and they said, can you make it all the way to the top? And I was like, yeah. And I floated up there, touched the top, and came back down. I remember my landing was off, the way I stepped, you know.
No.
I mean, it just really strange things. But it wasn't
Yeah, you had several, like I did, several 20 and back type of scenarios. That was just one of them. It looked like that was one of your earlier ones. It looked like you've had at least 3 or 4 in there and placed back in. See, Joanna and I have had several. So I recognize when somebody else has had several. This is, yeah, you were definitely in a training facility. I'm trying to see what the levitation thing was. Okay, yeah, I've seen one of these domed rooms before. Sometimes the floor is clear, and there's people underneath looking up too. Like there'll be people in little cubicle things looking upward into that room too. Like the ceiling is clear, and they can look up, and they can watch and judge what's going on. Like if you're being tested or something. And this kind of reminds me of like the holodeck on Star Trek, but it's like domed. I've seen these before. And there are ships in.
It was a huge room. That's what I remember. Huge.
And interdimensional craft can enter this room too because it's so big. It's like a hangar. Like a craft that will fly through, you know, through dimensional like corridors and strings and stuff like that can come in and out of those places. These still exist now. But I'm trying to see what this levitation thing was about and why the aliens think you were so much of a threat here. Yeah, Cabal definitely tagged you, and they how old are you now?
I'm 47.
47. I feel like this is still going on. Like you're pulled out sometimes and debriefed by people and put back.
I actually remember some of that. Yeah. Like, look, I call them snippet memories. It's like I get a little bit and I'll see someone, you know, wearing certain clothes and I know we're sitting at a table talking, but I can't remember all of it, you know?
It's just out, it's like it's just out of your grasp, like you can't quite grab it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris, you mentioned threat, and Anne has told me that there's been a number of people and stuff like that. For some reason, she's somehow perceived as a threat by some of these people, humans and entities.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning they're scared of her, and that they react to me the same way. I mean, it doesn't stop them from attacking me, but you know, then they just get the crap beat out of them. But like today we had something, but they decided. I basically yelled out the window and said, "Yeah, you wanna come in here? It'll be your own death, pretty much." You know, and that's how we reacted to them. But yeah, there was something energetically about you that you were strong with your thoughts intact, with your memories intact, with everything intact. These beings would never come within a mile of you, a couple miles of you. They'd be hiding out on a mountain somewhere. But that's what I feel like. But somebody was told to wipe your memory and put you in what I call the stage. This is the stage. There's the backstage and stage. And the backstage is the timeline where people go when they're abducted and then put back. That's where that whole 20 and back or 20 out thing takes place. Let me see here. There's a lot of time travel involved here too. I'm definitely seeing fractals of you going on missions with. I see your hair tied back like you have it now, and you have a gun in your hand and everything like that. You definitely did some of the same stuff I did. Trust me, I was all over the damn place. So it was. I'm only now starting to put these pieces back together, but you went on similar missions. It looks like to actually take out some of these enemy encampments in places. I keep seeing.
I remember flying a craft. I remember them teaching me how to fly things with my mind.
Yes. And you had your hands on the controls like there were these like orbs or something you had the hands on. I'm seeing like is this orbs I'm looking at or handprints? Let's see. Oh yeah, where you slid your hands in and it was like this there was some kind of, I keep feeling something pushing on the palms of my hands when you're in there, but you were flying it with your thoughts. And this looks to be something similar that I was in. Like it looks like a half like egg-shaped thing that kind of arcs backwards. I've seen these before. There's also other craft that look strictly almost human, like big aircraft carrier-looking things. But yeah, I'm seeing you were on all of these type of things. I keep seeing you running after and saving your team. Like you had a team of women. Like these girls that you were training, that at least a third of them became your permanent team members. There was, yeah, I'm trying to. It keeps your timeline just jumping all over the place. Like you went here. You were everywhere, and these aliens couldn't do anything to you when you were fully cognizant. Because you were able to literally, like, almost like set them on fire with your thoughts. So they would send humans at you and stuff like that, and but the aliens, you rarely saw them because they didn't come near you. You're toxic to them in some way. That's why I'm seeing mostly human involvement around you, because these aliens are like this, you know. So it's like they love to send servants to do stuff. Like these reptilians wouldn't have been as you wouldn't have been as toxic to them. It's these grays, these spindly, you know, creepy looking things that they're probably sitting back like this. So it's like yeah, they don't want to come near you. But it's like in ancient times when the Romans would just send out their servants to do battle for a lot of things versus their main soldiers. It's kind of the same concept. And yeah, I just keep seeing you running down this dirt road trying to get to a structure to actually save some women that were there. Like you were trying to help bust up some of these sexual circle things that were going on. And you just got fed up and went like basically Conan on these guys. And which is this is kind of funny because I'm just seeing you went off on your own a lot, and I feel this stems back to your ancient soul history too. You have almost like White Knight written all over you, because I was part of a group of people that were time travelers that came back and entered into this incarnation cycle to try to change things here, change the timeline. And for a while they didn't enter into the incarnation cycle. They were outside of it. They were trying to go around and correct stuff. Through basically just these fractures in time they would travel through. And this is what I keep seeing with you, but this is a little more guided. You're part of this military group, and these people keep sending you out on these missions. And you may have even known the same group that I interacted with, too. Because it's starting to look like we were in some of the same circles. Because I'm seeing you on secret space programs, spaceships. You could actually field strip one of these ships and put it back together. That's how you were sought after, and also you were also very knowledgeable in the magical arts as well. Like they wanted you for remote viewing, they wanted you for rescue missions, stuff like that. That's what I keep seeing. You dressed in like army fatigue type.
That's how I saw myself, yeah.
And yeah, it looks like you tried to infiltrate, like I said, a few of the sexual circles to try to get close to some of these creepy traitor type people too. And you did. I keep seeing you sticking something on their back or on their chest. There's like this little round thing that you'd stick on their chest, and it would kill them. It was like no bigger than like this piece of malachite here. It was like this, and you'd push a button and they go boom, and they'd fall over. You know, and
that would come in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep seeing that. Huh?
Were they humans?
Yeah, these are humans that I'm seeing that she's doing this to. I'm seeing alien contact, but it only seems to be in the reptilian sense. You know, I keep seeing like Draco and stuff like that, and I'm seeing you go after them. I see one coming out of like a wooded area, and you just mow it down. But and it seems that the troops that were with you there, it looks like it's mostly a female team. If there's I believe there is one. Is there a guy there? No guys on there. It was an all-female group.
There was a man that was. Anne told me that there was a man that was helping her. How many years ago was that?
Just a couple years ago. Yeah, he was, helping me like with energy and that kind of stuff. But he didn't go as in depth as you are now. But
yeah,
honestly,
I see fractures in time.
Well, at that time, I was really my whole life was just being ripped apart in every direction. I couldn't even function. So.
Yeah, it's going all over the place. Like these memories eventually will reassert themselves. If you feel what I call cotton on the brain, if you feel like this word, like that's what the memories are trying to come back, and the AI is trying to push them away. And I deal with this every time these memories start to come up, and you have to fight past that.
Yeah,
you have to get past that.
I'll even try to start talking about something, and just like that, it's gone, and I'm like.
The vanishing thoughts, yes. It's annoying, yes. That's why I try to record everything I do, just in case it goes, gone, but with the cotton on the brain, that is the AI trying to booby trap your own thoughts. This is why it's like saying there's many layers to your suppression here. Because I'm seeing several layers of programming that's in there to keep this out. I'm going to try to remove this, and that cotton on the brain thing should get less and less. So I'm seeing it's going from here all the way back. I'm seeing almost like this fan-like effect that's in your head, like almost like a Rolodex-looking deal. Somebody thought they were very thorough with the wipe, but no, they weren't here. So I'm seeing this in your chest here too. There's programming that came in through the eyes that affected women in particular. I've seen this before. Its source is alien, but humans tried to repurpose it. Let me see here. Have her revoke what? Okay. Do you revoke any and all ties, bindings, contracts, or programming that are not for your highest good in this expression?
Yes.
Okay, that's lifting. I want to see how much of this fog they stuck in there. Yeah, it's like dentist cotton has been stuck up in here, so it's there we go. I got rid of several. Well, here's get rid of that. Okay, yeah, the way you fight that is just when you feel that forgetfulness coming on, try to pull that memory back in. Hold on to it as long as you can, and let it reassert itself. Once it gets reasserted back into your actual conscious, they can't take it back. So I've noticed that the more details I get about the secret space program in my labs, and I put it back in the thoughts, I continue to remember it as if I just did it. So it takes a little bit of practice, and it looks like they have a kill switch, like they had in my head, a little red, like toggle. It looks like that is basically fighting you.
A kill switch, like it'll kill me.
It probably could, but this is what's wiping your thoughts. I call it a kill switch because it's like a toggle, but this is what's pulling the thoughts away from you. Here, I'm seeing it in the memory center of your brain. It's red, so I'm going to wipe this out. Yeah, that's definitely an AI construct of some sort. Majority of this is artificial intelligence. So let me see here. Have you had dreams also of being like, say you're starting to remember something of one of these programs, and all of a sudden snippets of TV shows and movies start to invade it, like actors' faces, heads, people.
Not that I can remember, but I don't remember any TV shows or anything. No.
Okay, usually a trick the AI likes to use in this is in dreams when you're starting to remember something, it'll reboot the memory, but with actors' faces on different people, so that you think it was you're just dreaming about a TV show or an actor.
I'll be aware of that now, then, if I do.
Yeah, that's it's usually a memory trying to reassert itself, and the AI is going nope, and puts a kibosh on that. So a lot of invasions in dream time lately by entities.
Yeah, I've had a lot lately.
Yeah, if you have any dreams where somebody's trying to hand you something, put your hands up in the dream. Go nope, not taking it. Because that's a deception. If they try to get you into a vehicle, you're basically getting snared by a demon or something. That you don't want that. If you see animals in dreams, they're trying to protect you, like guides are trying to protect you in some way, like spirits of animals or beings like Sasquatch and stuff like that, like to help out people in blocking these different beings.
What about real animals? Because before I pulled up here, Anne said that that she saw a kitten outside that she was attracted to, and if it's still there in the morning, you're thinking about taking it home.
Oh yeah, it just ran up to me.
Oh yeah, that can be a protector as well. Basically, trying to shield you, step in between you and whatever force is trying to harm you. Animals like to do that. That's the purpose why they came in. Is to shield, and that usually ends up harming them in the process, but they don't care. There's
an animal at her feet right now. Gunter is just naturally cuddled up next to her right now.
Yeah, he knows something. He knows what I can hear him thinking as well. It's like he's putting a lot of love energy towards you. I know that. Yeah, he's being very sweet. And he can hear me too, so yeah, okay. Yeah, you're a good boy. Yeah, yeah, he's putting a lot of love energy towards you. He's shielding you from something that is trying to hit you here. Let me see here. I'm looking through your thoughts even more and see where this went. Looks like you. Oh boy. Yeah, the reptilians tried to involve you in the sexual circles at one point to harvest that energy. And let me see here. And what else? Oh, okay. I'm being told you were involved in that for some time when you were younger. Much younger.
Yeah, really young.
Yeah. And somebody in those programs saved you, and then you turned around and went Conan on these people. So, turned around and started going after them.
So the people that they saved me from, was it part of the cabal?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, because that's what this other person told me too. He told me who it was, and the funny thing is right before this person died, I started having dreams about him and seeing his face and seeing.
Was he a good person or a bad person?
No, he was a bad person. Very bad person.
Were you telling me that sometimes you get up in the middle of the night and just start putting on your makeup and stuff, so as if you were fixing to go somewhere?
No, I wouldn't get up in the night and do it, but it was like just certain nights I'd feel like I need to take a shower and put my makeup on and be ready to go. And you know, like people would say, "Why do you do that before you go to bed?" I'm like, and my response was odd. It was, "Well, you never know when you have to get up and go."
Yes, that's when you were involved in that, your memory was blocked of why you were doing that. They were just preparing you to go out and basically do what they wanted you to do. Yeah, that's what I was picking up on. There was it looks like a handler. It looks like this guy was a handler that you were talking about. He helped out. He was definitely a handler, but I'm seeing somebody opening a car door, like a black vehicle. But this vehicle has one of those what they call the suicide doors, where they open this way. And I'm seeing the door open like this, and there's other people in suits in the car, and they're trying to see if they're alien or not. Let's see. No, but there's a lot of dark energy around them. These are definitely human, and yeah, boy, they got a large perception filter over this. What I mean by perception filter, if I run into a layer that starts to make it drift like this, somebody's locked this off so prying eyes won't look at it. So I don't know it until I've run my face right into it, usually. But like hitting a cellophane or plastic or something, that's what it is. But this somebody at those times would come and get you, and these people in the car would prepare you for whomever they were bringing you to. This looks to be an alien source, but not gray. This is these were people that were participating in the sexual circles. It's not just human. There are some aliens that are participating in this too. But there was somebody good always watching to try to make sure that you didn't die from this. And there's a military group, and then there's a guide too. I'm trying to determine what soul family or soul cluster you're from. That would tell me whom was protecting you. That seems to be locked off a little bit from me, but they seem to want you to know that somebody keeps saying that you were definitely watched over by both sides.
Good and bad? Good
and bad, yes. Protected by one and basically ensnared by the other one. But yeah, they're telling me watch your dreams more closely. You're getting back what you've lost fairly quickly. It's coming back in a flood because the energies are changing. The Earth energies are changing. Solar energies are changing. It's not going to be easy to hide things anymore, even from yourself. It's not going to be easy at all. I'm trying to think oh man, somebody's trying to scramble me here.
Anne has told me